here in Key West at Ernest Hemingway's house, where he left the house to the descendants of his cats. Well, not exactly, but the person that bought the house in a private auction turned it into a museum and decided to let the descendants of Hemingway's cats live here, which numbers over 50. An anomaly which causes the cat to be born with more than the usual number of toes on one or more of its paws is called a polydactyl cat. The cats are all named after famous people. This cat's name is Joe DiMaggio. A ship's captain gave Hemingway the original polydactyl kitten named Snow White. Polydactyl cats were really good at keeping rodent populations down on the ship and were considered very good luck to have on your boat at sea. You're welcome to look around on your own, or you could jump in on a tour when you come to the Hemingway house. I've been before, but let's listen in on this real quick.
And this man right here, Gregorio Fuentes, is the one who started teaching him about deep sea fishing. Cuban-born, died not long ago at 104 years old. And once Ernest had his own boat built, the Pilar, which came down here in 1934, Fuentes was the first mate for the entire time that Ernest used that boat, which was right up until 1960, or about that later on. If that weren't enough, he was also the basis of the character in The Old Man and the Sea. Published in 1952, Ernest won the Pulitzer Prize for that in 1953, and the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1954. When Ernest died, he left that boat to Mr. Fuentes. When Mr. Fuentes died, he left it to the museum that's in Cuba now. More about that later as well.
Now, these cats crack me up, but I'm actually a huge fan of Ernest Hemingway. I read The Old Man and the Sea when I was in 6th grade. The story's about a fisherman who caught the largest marlin ever. Although Hemingway's probably almost done that himself, he does hold the record for the largest sailfish ever at the time. On top of that, he won every single organized fishing contest in Key West, Bimini, and Havana. At one contest in Bimini, the locals were so mad because Hemingway won it in their waters, he offered to give them their prize money back if they could last with them 3 rounds in boxing. Hemingway took on 4 different competitors and walked away with his money. He knocked each of them out. We've now entered the master bedroom, and there we go. The cats can go anywhere they want, inside and out. Hey, look at Fatty over here. Hey, these cats are looked after very well. They have their own veterinarian, and you would never guess cats even live here. There's no odor or anything. Very clean. Hemingway lived in the house from 1931 to 1939 until he divorced his wife and moved to Cuba. She stayed in the home until 1951 when she passed away. It remained in Hemingway's name until 1964 when he committed suicide, and his sons later sold it. The new owner had all intentions on living here, but there was so much interest from the public about Hemingway, he just decided to make it into a museum. Hemingway really had one of the most interesting lives in American history, and hands down, he is the great American author. Have you guys read any of his books or short stories? Comments below. Just looking around at those paws, those front ones look like mittens. I think we got one. And just checking out to see how many toes this guy's got. Hemingway went on 2 different African safaris, one of them while he lived here, inspiring one of the greatest works, The Green Hills of Africa, he wrote right here in Key West. He was known as a heavy drinker, and his house was right next to the Key West Lighthouse, which he liked because whenever he got too drunk in town to remember his way home, he would just follow the light. Here we go. Here comes the paw. Looking pretty big. Yep, he's one. Not every cat got passed down the trait of being a polydactyl, so you kind of got to look for him.
And the writing studio is authentic to his writing here, 1931 to 1939. Come on up. The other authentic writing studio is in Cuba. Now, we were up on that veranda. There was a catwalk that was built by the builder Tip that connected that veranda to this upper part. He had horses and carriages, Mr. Tip did, and he had hay up there. Well, that was turned into the writing studio instead. And Ernest did 70% of his writing in Key West. Everything that he saw published in his lifetime. Very dedicated. Very disciplined.
His friends say he wrote with passion and commitment, every day waking at 5 a.m. and writing till midday. His first works out of this studio, which was a novel called A Farewell to Arms about his time spent in Italy, once it was published, became a complete success. It just hit me. I'm reading one of Hemingway's books, Death in the Afternoon. It's about the bullfights in Spain. He wrote that book right here in this room. Wow. If you look at this water fountain for the cats, at the bottom has a men's urinal turned sideways. It's from the bar Sloppy Joe's. Hemingway and his buddy Joe Russell, who owned the bar, one night got hammered and brought it over to Hemingway's house. Joe and Ernest were fishing buddies who used to do fishing trips to Cuba and smuggle a bunch of rum back into the United States. Remember, this is the 30s during time of Prohibition. While Hemingway was in Spain working as a war correspondent for the Spanish Civil War, his wife heard about an affair, so she ripped out his boxing ring and decided to put a pool in its place for the cost of $20,000. The pool cost 2.5 times as the house itself. When he saw it when he got home, he took a penny from his pocket and threw it on the ground by his wife, saying, "You might as well have my last cent." Sometime later, she laughingly encased it right here in concrete by the pool. There's one in there. The Hemingway house is the #1 attraction in Key West, although I know a lot of people have come to Key West but have never gone to the house. Here we are at South Point. It's a big attraction and not far away from the Hemingway house. It's considered the southernmost tip of the continental United States. Not to be confused with Hawaii, right? And if you really want to get technical, Guam. I hope everybody enjoyed checking out the video, and we're gonna go and head to Miami. So hopefully we'll see you on the next one.